Hello there, my sleepy fellows. Tonight, we set forth on a tale of mystery and wonder, following the traces of the last Elven Ring, hidden away, long thought lost. The Elven Rings of Power, crafted with skill and grace beyond mortal hands, held great wisdom and strength. 3 were made, untouched by Sauron's corruption, and entrusted to the guardians of the Elven realms. Narya, the Ring of Fire, passed to Gandalf. Vilya, the most powerful, was kept by Elrond in Rivendell, and Nenya, the Ring of Adamant, remained with Galadriel, shining as bright as the light of the stars. Yet whispers tell of another, a 4th ring, crafted in secret, a ring meant to safeguard what even the wise could not foresee, a relic hidden before the war, before Sauron's fall, lost to the fading ages of Middle-earth. But lost does not always mean forgotten. There are those who still search, who follow the faintest of clues left behind in old tomes and the faded memories of the Eldar. And tonight, we walk in their footsteps, uncovering the past one step at a time. Through the deep forests of Lothlórien, across the silver streams of Rivendell, into the forgotten ruins of the First Age, we trace the echoes of an ancient mystery. But before we begin, take a deep breath. Let the troubles of the waking world drift away like leaves on the river Anduin. Imagine yourself standing in the heart of the Shire, where golden light spills from round windows and the scent of fresh earth and honey cakes fills the air. If you find comfort in these tales and wish to journey through more legends of Middle-earth, consider joining this fellowship. A simple gesture, a like, a subscribe, helps keep these stories alive, guiding us deeper into lands of mystery and magic. And should you wish to be the first to hear the next tale whispered through the winds of time, you may choose to hit the bell icon, ensuring that no adventure escapes your notice. Tonight, we follow a legend long buried beneath the weight of years. Deep within the heart of Middle-earth, where time flows like a gentle stream, an old scholar sat within the dim glow of candlelight. Eledwin, a wandering lore-master of Rivendell, traced her fingers along the fragile parchment of an ancient scroll. Her eyes, aged with wisdom, yet bright with curiosity, flickered as they followed the winding elvish script. It spoke of a secret long buried beneath the weight of years, a 4th elven ring, lost to time, hidden beyond the reach of even the wisest among the Eldar. For centuries, the knowledge of the 3 rings was passed from guardian to guardian, whispered through the halls of Rivendell, Lothlórien, and the scattered remnants of the elven race. But this scroll, this delicate relic of another age, told of something more, a ring of power that had never been named, a relic that had vanished before Sauron had even laid his eye upon it. Eledwin's heart quickened. If such a thing existed, it could hold magic unlike anything known today. Perhaps it was only a legend, a myth woven into the fabric of history. But if there was even a chance, a single chance that the ring was real, she had to find it. She rose from her study, the candlelight flickering as she wrapped her cloak around her slender frame. Beyond the arched windows of Rivendell, the silver waterfalls shimmered beneath the moon's quiet glow. It was here, among the halls of Elrond, that many journeys had begun, and tonight another would take shape. As she stepped into the corridors of the great elven haven, the soft whisper of footsteps reached her ears. A figure stood in the shadows, a familiar presence, a voice of wisdom that had guided many before her. "You have read the scroll, then?" She turned and met the deep-set eyes of Gandalf the Grey. His expression was knowing, as if he had foreseen this moment long before it arrived. "It is but a story, Mithrin dear," she murmured, "as were many things before they were found to be true," the wizard replied, his voice like the low murmur of thunder before a distant storm. "If this ring exists, its power must not fall into the wrong hands, and if it does not, then we shall learn the truth of it ourselves." A quiet wind stirred through the halls of Rivendell as the two stood in thought. The journey had already begun, whispered on the wings of fate. From the golden woods of Lothlórien to the forgotten ruins of Eregion, the path stretched long before them, filled with dangers unknown. But somewhere in the echoes of time, buried beneath the roots of Middle-earth, lay a secret waiting to be uncovered. And so, with the stars as their witness and history as their guide, they took the first step toward legend. The road stretched before them like an endless silver thread woven into the fabric of Middle-earth. Eledwen and Gandalf rode swiftly under the canopy of the ancient forests, their path veiled in mist and moonlight. The wind carried with it the scent of pine and distant rain, and the hush of the night felt heavy with unspoken secrets. For many leagues, they traveled in silence, their thoughts burdened by the unknown. The tale of the lost ring had been long forgotten, but if it existed, it could be hidden in places where even the stars dared not gaze. It was in the ruins of Eregion that they sought the first whispers of truth. Once a thriving elven realm, now only broken towers and shattered stone remained. The land was silent, save for the occasional rustling of wind through abandoned halls. Eledwen knelt beside a fallen pillar, her fingers tracing the faint markings upon its surface. They were written in Tengwar, the language of her kin, but the symbols were faint, aged by centuries of wind and time. "This was once the home of Celebrimbor," Gandalf murmured, his staff casting a pale glow over the ancient stone, "the maker of the three rings, and perhaps the keeper of another secret." Eledwen brushed away the dirt and dust, revealing a series of carved words. That which was forged in secret remains in silence, beyond the reach of shadow. The words sent a shiver through her. Beyond the reach of shadow, could it mean that the ring had been hidden away from Sauron's grasp, placed somewhere untouched by his evil? "We must seek Lothlórien," Gandalf said at last. "If any memory of this ring exists, the Lady of the Wood will know it." And so, with the dawn rising behind them, they turned eastward, toward the golden trees of Galadriel's realm. The woods of Lothlórien stood untouched by time, bathed in eternal gold. The leaves shimmered like captured sunlight, and the air was thick with an ancient magic that soothed the heart. Eledwen and Gandalf walked in silence through the sacred realm, the weight of their journey pressing upon them. At last, they arrived at the heart of the wood where the Lady of Light awaited. Galadriel stood tall and radiant beneath the golden canopy, her gaze piercing and knowing. She did not speak at first, but instead lifted her hand toward the mirror of Lórien. "The ring you seek is hidden well," she said softly, her voice like a song woven into the wind. "It was never meant for mortal hands, nor even for those of the Eldar." Eladwin hesitated, glancing at Gandalf, but the wizard only nodded for her to step forward. She peered into the mirror, the water still as glass. Then, slowly, images began to take shape. A dark cavern where silver veins pulsed through black stone, a city long abandoned, its towers broken beneath the weight of time, and then a hand reaching, a pale, ghostly hand, seeking something buried in the depths. The vision faded, and a single name lingered in Eledwin's mind. "Khazad-dûm," she whispered. "The ring is in Moria." A heavy silence followed, the ancient dwarven realm, a place now lost to darkness, where even the bravest feared to tread. "Then our path is clear," Gandalf said at last, his voice firm. "To Moria we must go." Galadriel's gaze softened, though sorrow lingered in her eyes. "Then may the stars guide you," she whispered, "for the road ahead is treacherous, and the shadows of the past are not easily outrun." With that final blessing, Eledwin and Gandalf turned toward the unknown. The great doors of Moria awaited, and deep within its depths, the last elven ring lay in slumber. But some secrets were never meant to be found, and in the darkness, something had already awakened. The moon was high when Eladwen and Gandalf arrived at the ancient west gate of Moria. The great doors, once carved with elven craftsmanship, now stood weathered and silent, their inscriptions barely visible under the creeping vines of time. "Speak, friend, and enter," Gandalf murmured, tracing his staff along the runes. The elvish word for our friend, Melon, left his lips like a whisper on the wind, and slowly the doors shuddered open. A heavy silence greeted them. The darkness of Moria yawned before them, vast and endless. No echoes of dwarven laughter remained. No song of hammer and chisel rang through the deep halls. Only shadow and the scent of cold stone. Eledwin hesitated, glancing at Gandalf. "Are you certain the ring is here?" The wizard nodded. "The mirror of Galadriel has never lied." And so, they stepped forward into the blackness, their only light the faint glow of Gandalf's staff. The tunnels stretched in twisting paths, vast and cavernous. The remains of ancient dwarven halls lay in ruin, great pillars carved with runes of Durin's line, stairways descending into black chasms, and broken bridges suspended over forgotten depths. As they walked, the sound of their footsteps echoed like whispers through the deep. The air was thick with the scent of dust and old stone, yet something lingered beneath it, something unnatural. In one great hall, a stone tablet lay half buried beneath rubble. Eladwin knelt beside it, brushing away centuries of dust. She read the words aloud. "Here lies the last gift of Celebrimbor, beyond the reach of shadow. Let none but the worthy pass." Gandalf exhaled slowly. "Then it is here, hidden from the eyes of all but those who seek it with a heart free of greed." Eledwin's fingers traced the markings, and as she did, a gust of wind rushed through the chamber, though no wind should have existed so deep underground. The flames on Gandalf's staff flickered, and then a sound. Not an echo, not stones shifting, a breath. Something was awake. A deep rumble shook the chamber. From the farthest depths of the hall, a figure stirred. Out of the darkness, a pair of glowing eyes emerged, staring at them with unnatural hunger. A creature, ancient and withered, rose from the shadows. Its body was cloaked in ragged black robes, its hands skeletal and grasping. A golden light pulsed faintly from beneath its bony fingers. The last Elven Ring. Gandalf stepped forward, his voice firm yet wary. "Who stands before us?" A voice like the rustling of dry leaves answered, "I am the keeper of the forgotten." Eledwin's breath caught. The guardian was no mere spirit. It was an ancient wraith, bound to the ring by magic beyond mortal comprehension. "The ring does not belong to you," Gandalf said carefully. "It was meant to remain hidden, not to be possessed." The wraith's eyes flared like dying embers. "And yet, you have come. You have sought what was buried. You have disturbed what should remain lost." A gust of dark wind erupted from the figure, and suddenly the room was filled with whispers, thousands of voices murmuring, weeping, warning. Eledwin's hands clenched into fists. She could feel the pull of the ring, the immense power radiating from it. It was not like the 3 rings of the elves, nor was it of Sauron's making. It was something older, something crafted in a time before even the forging of the One Ring, and it did not wish to be found. Gandalf stood firm. "We do not seek to claim it. We seek only to know the truth." The wraith hesitated. The whispers grew softer, and then the figure extended its bony hand. The golden ring shimmered faintly, resting in the palm of something no longer living. Its surface bore no inscription, but its power was undeniable. "The ring was made to protect," the wraith whispered, "a final safeguard, hidden from all who would seek to control it. Neither Sauron nor the Valar knew of its existence. It was meant to be forgotten, so that none could wield it, not even the wise." Gandalf's expression darkened. "If Sauron knew..." The wraith nodded. "Then it would all be undone. The war, the sacrifices, the balance of Middle-earth, all would crumble." Silence fell over them. Eledwin swallowed. "Then what must we do?" The wraith's hand closed over the ring. "Leave it. Turn back. Let it fade from memory once more." The words felt final, heavy with the weight of an eternal secret. Gandalf lowered his staff. "Come, Eledwin, some treasures must remain buried." And with that, they turned away. The whispers faded, the wraith vanished into shadow once more, and the last elven ring remained untouched, resting in the deep halls of Moria, a forgotten legend, a secret never meant to be known. The quest was over, but the echoes of its discovery would linger, long after they had gone. The journey out of Moria's deep halls was filled with silence. Gandalf and Eledwin walked through the darkened passages, their minds heavy with the knowledge they now carried. The last Elven Ring existed, but it was never meant to be found. Eledwin's fingers twitched at her side, as if still feeling the lingering pull of the hidden relic. She dared not speak of it. though her heart ached with questions. Gandalf, walking beside her, finally broke the silence. "We must leave this place and speak no more of what we have seen," he said, his voice calm yet firm. "Some secrets are meant to be buried, even from ourselves." Eledwin nodded, but her mind was restless. Could something so powerful truly remain forgotten? As they stepped out of the cavernous entrance of Moria and into the open air, the first golden rays of dawn painted the peaks of the misty mountains. The crisp, cool air rushed over them, washing away the damp, stifling weight of the underground halls. Eledwin took a deep breath. The world felt vast again, yet something felt changed. Their next steps were uncertain, but Gandalf's thoughts were already set. "We must go to Rivendell," he finally said. "Lord Elrond must know of this, if only so that the burden of knowledge is not ours alone to carry." Eledwin hesitated. She had long wished to see the fabled valley of the Elves, but not under such weighty circumstances. Still, she agreed. If anyone could guide them on what they had uncovered, it was Elrond half-elven. Their journey through the mountain paths was uneventful but eerie. It felt as if unseen eyes were watching them. By the third night, Eledwin saw strange shapes moving in the far distance, figures clad in shadow, moving unnaturally through the trees. She whispered to Gandalf, "Something follows us." Gandalf did not seem surprised. "They have caught the scent of knowledge," he murmured. "Let us hope they do not catch the scent of fears as well." He did not name them, but Eledwin knew what they were, creatures of shadow, drawn to ancient power, and they were not the only ones. After days of weary travel, they reached the valley of Rivendell. The sight was a welcome relief. Flowing waterfalls, golden lanterns glowing softly in the twilight, and the peaceful hum of elven song drifting on the wind. Eledwin had never seen a place so untouched by time. It felt as if the world had been suspended in a golden dream. At the heart of it all, Lord Elrond awaited them. Seated in the great hall, beneath the white banners of Rivendell, Elrond's gaze was piercing, yet kind. The wisdom of millennia lay behind his eyes. "You bring tidings of great weight, Gandalf," Elrond said, his voice steady. Gandalf recounted their discovery, sparing no detail. When he finished, a deep silence settled. Elrond folded his hands, his expression unreadable. A ring hidden from all, neither touched by Sauron nor blessed by the valor. This is knowledge that few should bear. Eledwin clenched her hands. "Then should we have left it unknown?" Elrond's gaze softened as he looked at her. "That is not for us to decide. Knowledge is both a gift and a curse." He turned to Gandalf. "What do you intend?" Gandalf sighed. "I intend to let the world remain as it is. The ring is lost, and lost it shall remain." Elrond nodded. "Then it must be forgotten once more." But the weight of the knowledge lingered still, and Eledwin could not shake the feeling that someone else was searching. As the night deepened in Rivendell, Eledwin wandered the quiet halls, unable to sleep. She felt something, a stirring in the wind, a whisper just beyond hearing. Following the feeling, she stepped onto one of the high terraces that overlooked the valley, and there, in the moonlight, stood a figure, an elf, clad in dark robes, his silver hair catching the faint glow of the stars. His eyes shimmered like reflected moonlight. Eledwin felt a chill. She had seen him before, not in life, but in her dreams. "You have walked in places that should not be disturbed," the elf murmured. His voice was like a song sung from across a great distance. Eledwin took a step back. "Who are you?" He did not answer. "There are forces beyond your sight, beyond your knowledge. You're not the only ones who seek the hidden ring." Her breath caught. "Who else?" she asked. The elf's gaze lingered on her for a long moment before he whispered, "Those who remember what even the wise have forgotten." And just like that, he was gone. Only the cold wind remained, whispering through the trees. When Eledwin returned to Gandalf's chambers, her heart still thundered. She told him what had happened, and for the first time in their long journey, she saw unease cross the wizard's face. "We are not alone in this," he murmured. "Then what do we do?" she asked. For a long time, Gandalf did not speak. Then, finally, he sighed. "We wait, and we watch." His eyes turned to the stars beyond the windows. The road ahead was unclear, but one thing was certain: someone else was watching them too. And the hunt for the last Elven ring was far from over. Rivendell had always been a place of peace, a sanctuary where time moved gently, untouched by the world's turmoil. But now, an unease settled upon its golden halls. Since the night of Eledwin's strange encounter, whispers moved through the valley, not spoken by elves, but carried in the wind, in the rustling of the trees, and in the watchful silence of the stars. Gandalf stood at the balcony of Elrond's halls, his pipe unlit, deep in thought. Eledwin approached him, her footsteps light but urgent. "It has begun, hasn't it?" Gandalf did not look at her immediately, but when he did, his gray eyes held an answer she did not wish to hear. "Yes," he murmured, "it has begun." On the second night, scouts from Rivendell returned with troubling news. "Riders have been seen beyond the Bruinen," reported an elven ranger, his cloak damp with mist. "Their movements are swift, their presence unnatural." Elrond frowned. "Are they mere travelers?" The ranger shook his head. "No, they search for something, or someone." At this, Eledwin and Gandalf exchanged a glance. It was no coincidence. "The knowledge has left Moria," Gandalf muttered, "and those who seek power have heard its whisper." Elrond called a small council. Beneath the silver glow of Rivendell's starlit halls, he listened as Gandalf spoke of their journey, of Moria's forgotten chamber, of the relic hidden away for an age, and of the unknown forces that now stirred. Elrond's expression darkened. "There are some things in Middle-earth best left untouched." Eledwin hesitated before speaking. "But what if it falls into the wrong hands?" "Then we must ensure that it does not," Elrond said. His voice, though calm, carried the weight of ages past. Gandalf turned to Eledwin. "You have been drawn into this for a reason, and now you must decide." She swallowed. "Decide what?" "Whether to carry this burden forward, or to let it vanish as it was meant to." For a long time, she said nothing. Then, finally, she whispered, "We cannot ignore it. We must find the truth before they do." Elrond inclined his head, though his eyes were heavy with sorrow. "Then let it be so." The next morning, Elethwen, Gandalf, and a small company of Rivendell's finest set out into the wilds beyond the valley. Their path led them through mist-laden forests and over ancient riverbeds, the journey slow yet urgent. As they traveled, a question burned in Elethwen's heart. "Who was that elf in the moonlight?" she asked Gandalf at last. The wizard's brow furrowed, a name long forgotten, a guardian of things unseen. "Is he an enemy?" "Not an enemy," Gandalf murmured, "but not a friend either." The answer was no comfort. After days of searching, they found it. In the hollow of an ancient ruin, half buried beneath the earth, a chamber older than Rivendell itself lay untouched. Carvings lined the stone walls, images of elves long past, their hands raised toward a symbol carved deep into the stone. A ring. Elethwen's breath caught, the last elven ring. As she reached out, a voice cut through the still air. "You should not be here." The moonlight pooled behind him, the silver-haired elf from Rivendell's terrace. Elethwen stepped back, but Gandalf held steady. "You have watched us," the wizard said. "Now tell us what you know." The elf's gaze never wavered. It was hidden for a reason. "And yet, here we stand," Gandalf countered. For a long moment, only silence stretched between them. Then the elf sighed. "If you take it, they will follow. If you leave it, they will search until they find it. There is no path without cost." Elethwen felt her heart pound. "Then what do we do?" The elf hesitated. Then at last he said, "You must choose who you trust with the truth and who you trust to forget." In the end, they did not take the ring. They buried it once more, hidden beneath stone and memory, left to the silence of the past. As they rode back to Rivendell, Elethwen looked at Gandalf. "Did we do the right thing?" she asked. The wizard exhaled slowly, watching the horizon. "Some answers are not ours to know." And in the distance, the storm clouds continued to gather. The journey back to Rivendell was quiet. The rhythmic steps of the horses, the whisper of the wind through the trees, and the distant call of night birds accompanied them as they traveled beneath the silver glow of the stars. Though their quest had ended, a lingering weight rebounded in Elethwen's heart. She glanced at Gandalf as he rode beside her, his eyes distant, as if he were listening to a voice beyond what others could hear. The events of the past days replayed in her mind, the discovery of the ring's resting place, the revelation of its hidden power, and the choice to leave it buried. "Will it stay hidden forever?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Gandalf turned his gaze toward her, his expression unreadable. "Nothing stays hidden forever, child, but some things remain forgotten long enough to be lost to time." The words settled over her like a soft but heavy shroud. The decision had been made. They had left the ring where it belonged, beyond the grasp of those who sought it. But would it be enough? Would the forces moving in the shadows abandon their search, or had they only delayed the inevitable? Rivendell greeted them with its eternal peace, the gentle glow of lanterns reflecting off flowing waterfalls, and the wind carrying the soft hum of elven songs through the air. Elethwen should have felt relief upon their return, but something in her heart told her that this was only the beginning of something far greater than she could yet comprehend. As she dismounted her horse, She noticed Elrond standing at the threshold of his great hall, waiting. His face betrayed no emotion, but his keen eyes studied them carefully as they approached. "You have returned," he said, his voice calm but measured. "And the ring?" Gandalf stepped forward, inclining his head slightly. "It remains where it was left ages ago." For a moment, Elrond said nothing. Then he nodded. "Perhaps that is for the best." Eledwin watched the exchange between the two ancient beings, feeling once again as though she stood at the edge of something far older and deeper than she could ever understand. Later that evening, as the halls of Rivendell grew quiet, she found herself sitting by the balcony overlooking the valley below. The stars stretched wide above her, endless and watchful. She thought of the silver-haired elf who had found them in the ruins, of his cryptic words, of the silent burden he seemed to carry. She thought of the ring, lying beneath stone and time, waiting for whatever fate would one day unearth it. A part of her wanted to believe that they had done the right thing, that leaving it behind had ensured peace, at least for a while. But another part of her could not shake the feeling that it had been more than a simple relic. It had been a remnant of something far greater than she could grasp, something woven into the very threads of history itself. Soft footsteps approached, and she turned to see Gandalf standing beside her, his pipe in hand. He didn't speak right away, only looked out over the valley, as though seeing something beyond what the eye could perceive. "Do you believe we made the right choice?" she asked, her voice steady but curious. Gandalf exhaled slowly, a faint wisp of smoke curling into the night air. "Sometimes, the right choice is the one that allows the world to keep moving forward." Eledwin frowned. "That's not an answer." The old wizard chuckled, a deep, knowing sound. "No, I suppose it isn't, but some answers are not ours to have." She sighed, letting the silence stretch between them. "Will we ever know?" Gandalf turned to her then, his gaze kind but firm. "Perhaps. Or perhaps the story of that ring will remain buried, never to be told." She looked back toward the stars, considering his words. The night stretched on, peaceful and quiet, the wind carrying the scent of fresh rain from the east. In the end, the world of Middle-earth would continue. Some secrets would be lost, some would be found, and some would wait in the darkness for the right time to be revealed. For now, Eledwin would let this one rest. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight on her chest slowly lift, and with it, a sense of quiet acceptance. The night remained undisturbed, the stars gleaming above, and the song of the wind whispering softly through the valley. And somewhere, deep beneath the stone and earth, the last elven ring remained, silent and waiting, its story yet to be written.